My, it's nice to be back with you again in the evening hours. As you can see, we have a brand new living room. And we also have a brand new kind of show. Well, for us, that is. And now for the first episode of our brand new show.
Good evening. I'm Gary Haskell, Jr., your host for this series of unrehearsed programs designed to revive the great American tradition of visiting with your neighbors, a tradition as old and as friendly as America itself. As you know, our remote television cameras are taking you from coast to coast and spontaneously invading a cross-section of the cabins and castles that reflect our way of life. This house, located at 312 Upper Shad Road in Ellendale, Connecticut, is one of them. The population of Ellendale is 5,293. 8 of Ellendale's citizens are named Massey. This is their home. In this 6-bedroom, remodeled New England salt box, Christine Massey resides with her 7 children. Along with 8 million other American women, Mrs. Massey is widowed. In precisely 5 seconds, this door will open and we'll be welcomed by the gracious and charming Mrs. Christine Massey.
She ain't here.
Little confusion at our remote pickup.
No, not yet, Mr. Schofield.
She ain't here.
A signal.
How am I going to introduce anybody if she ain't here? What you waving at?
Dwight, are you on the phones? Dwight, what is the old man talking?
Listen, we've been trying to get through to the studio for 40 minutes. This is a one-horse town. The lines were tied up.
Did she say anything?
Yes. She said, excuse us. We were just showing the children where to stand, and all of a sudden the littlest girl fainted, and her mother said, excuse us. The whole gang ran out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to say we've been unable to locate Mrs. Christine Massey and her 7 children who were to be the subjects of our interview this evening at America at Home. However, while we're checking this out, we do have a Quincy A. Schofield who has been the mayor of Ellendale since 1917 and who was scheduled to introduce Mrs. Massey if we could find her. Go right ahead, Mr. Schofield.
Howdy, America. I've known Christine Massey since she was a baby.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schofield. She just got word
but she might as well
just arrived. Dwight, could we have a shot of Mrs. Massey's car?
Job when they made Christine
over there.
Well, let's get some lights over there, Dwight. Let's have a shot of the car, Dwight. Well, Mrs. Massey, you gave us quite a scare. Dwight, could we get a mic on Mrs. Massey?
Gary, the cable won't reach over there.
Well, could we have Mrs. Massey? Could you move into the mic, Mrs. Massey? There we are.
Mike.
Are we on TV?
I guess we are, dear.
Dwight, pick them up inside of the house. Inside of the house.
Just take her right on upstairs, Peter. Mr. Schofield, why don't you come on in and sit down and make yourself comfortable? There you are. Oh, what? Oh. Thank you. I'll be right back, Mr. Haskell, just as soon as I get her settled.
Mrs. Massey, where were you?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Haskell, but we had to run Maria over to Dr. Bevan's. Excuse me?
Togetherness in action, so to speak.
What was that?
I mean, the fact that the whole family went along. I can see togetherness plays an important part in your family life.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
How's that?
Well, you see, with 8 people living in the same house, togetherness is almost unavoidable. Sometimes it gets kind of sticky. Well, that's why we have signs that we hang on our doors when we want to, and it says, keep out. This means you.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, the way I look at it is that most of our lives we have to think as individuals. And we might as well get used to the idea and practice while we are young. Otherwise, we're in for a terrible shock later on.
But togetherness has become such an American institution, don't you think?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, not really. Frankly, I think it's a word that some bachelor thought up to sell more barbecue equipment.
But you all just went to the doctor together.
Oh, yeah, well, you see, that was an emergency. And in our house, in all emergencies, the clan gathers.
Mommy.
Oh, all right, I'll do...
You won't need this. We have a boom mic.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, my foot.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Come on, you guys.
Can we talk with some of the kids? Dwight, hold some of the kids.
But they told us to stay next to Mom.
Would you please
But
come
not now.
Yes. Down here.
Get that camera out there.
Hey, Brodeen! Brody, swing that light over there. No, the big one. The big one.
Could you move over into the mic? There we are. Thank you. I don't think your mother really meant that togetherness was merely a gimmick to sell barbecue equipment. Do you?
Who, me?
Yes. Let's see. You are Binky.
No, I'm Vicky.
Oh, well, Vicky. Do you think your mother really...
If she said it, she meant it.
And how old are you, Vicky?
She's 15, the age of rebellion.
Let's see. You are Binky.
No, I'm Marnie.
You're the oldest. Any boyfriends?
You could call them that. Judy, really? They are rather, exasperating at that age, wouldn't you say?
Was that Binky?
No, this is Judy. She's 13.
So you're Judy. Hi, Judy. You're 13.
Yes, I'm Judy, and I'm 13, and, well, they're Peter and Paul, and Maria's upstairs.
Peter and Paul are the twins, I believe.
You said it, and they're 17, and Maria's 6. Well, that's the bunch, and you can't tell the players without a program. Hey, you forgot me. And that's not easy. I'm Binky. I'm 16. She's lovely, and she's homogenized.
Well, Binky, that's quite a family.
You said it, Mobsville. Hey, here comes Mom. Will the real Christine Massey please stand up?
Yay! Quite a family, Mrs. Massey.
Mr. Haskell, I'm awfully sorry. I want to apologize really for being so late, but I thought we'd be back in plenty of time. Dr. Bevins just lives right around the corner from us.
The excitement of being on TV too much for Maria?
Oh, no. She has the German measles.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
Oh, well, that's all right. You don't have to be. She might as well get them over with.
Mom, can we sit down?
Yes, dear. You'd think she could have waited until after the program, but you know children. I hope all of you men have had the German measles.
Oh, yes. They've all had the German measles.
Oh, well, that's good. Did you meet Mrs. Schofield?
Yes, we met Mr. Schofield.
Well, Ellendale wouldn't be Ellendale without Mr. Schofield.
Howdy, America.
Mrs. Massey, we're a little behind schedule. I wonder if you'd show us your living room.
This is the living room.
Oh. Perhaps you could point out some of the pieces of interest?
Well, it's not the White House exactly, but, well, let's see. This is the piano.
Yes. Do you play?
No.
Do the children play?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, they play chopsticks and Blue Moon and things like that, you know.
How about that lovely old piece under the mirror?
Oh, the chest?
Yes.
Yes.
That looks quite old. Is that quite old?
Well, it's about 6 or 7 years old. My husband made this just shortly before he died. Woodwork was his hobby. He was a writer. It's very dear to us. But we can't get it open.
I'm sure our audience is acquainted with Mr. Massey's bestseller, Sounds and Shadows.
Well, I hope so. It's a very good book.
I understand you're a writer yourself, Mrs. Massey.
Well, I'm productive, but unpublished.
And Mrs. Massey, about the kids?
Oh, yes. Well, what about them?
Raising 7 children by yourself, that's quite a task.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. I'd say at very best, it's quite a task.
I mean, being both father and mother to them, that's quite a responsibility.
Oh, well, I don't try to be both...
Move right over here.
Oh, yes. I don't try to be both father and mother. Just a mother who rolls with the punches.
And as a mother of 7, what is your opinion of the younger generation?
I like them. Mr. Haskell, are you still there?
What?
I said I like them.
Oh, I didn't mean, Mrs. Massey. It's just been brought to my attention. It seems, Mrs. Massey, your remarks about togetherness, the phone lines are jammed.
The phone line?
Yes. See, here at the studio, the switchboard. It seems a number of people have taken exception to. A number of people have called in who didn't quite exactly understand what you meant about togetherness. I wonder if we could clear this up for them.
Well, certainly, if I can.
Well, some people interpreted what you said to mean that you are against togetherness.
Oh. Well, I guess if I had to take a stand one way or the other, I'm against it.
See, Mr. Haskell, I told you.
Mrs. Massey, you don't mean that. What you mean is that...
I'm sorry, Mr. Haskell. What I mean is I'm against this, synthetic kind of togetherness, you know? I mean, any family that is a family certainly doesn't have to be told when to be together. However, I'm absolutely convinced that the rights of the that the rights of individuality must not be lost. They must be respected and encouraged, and particularly where children are concerned.
But in the family, I mean, if the children are allowed to...
Think for themselves?
Well, yes.
That they might get out of hand and run wild?
Well, yes.
No, not if the parents have taught them, by example, of course, a good, solid, basic set of principles, of morals, by which they can weigh things and evaluate them, and then come to their own decisions. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. I don't mean to sound pontifical, but, well, there's one other thing. To me, the first duty of a parent is to make the child independent of the parent.
Really?
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, getting together for a backyard barbecue can't possibly substitute for parental leadership. But it just can't. That's all.
Mrs. Massey.
Yes.
What do you have against barbecues?
Oh, nothing. I like a barbecue. We love a barbecue.
Yes, we do. We do love a barbecue.
Yes. Well, now, don't we all love a barbecue?
Well, not all that much.
They're okay. Personally, I think they're kind of silly. Everything's burnt and all the bugs.
Well, what's wrong with a barbecue?
I agree with Paul.
I'm Peter. I'm Paul. I don't like them. We always have to clean up afterwards, and they're always a big mess.
Well, Dr. Fitch says that...
Here it comes.
Please, Binky. Dr. Fitch, he teaches Psych 1. He says that backyard cooking is psychologically, no, I should say subconsciously, mankind's attempt to get back to the primitive, back to the soil, so to speak.
Well, who wants to get back to the soil? Back to the soil.
Binky, science begins with the soil.
Mrs. Massey.
Yes,
Mrs. Massey, could we get back to the family?
Oh, Mr. Haskell, this is the family.
We are visiting with Mrs. Christine Massey and her 7 children of Ellendale, Connecticut. As happens with any unrehearsed program such as this, the unforeseen occurred.
Drink of water.
Well, Mr. Haskell,
Drink of water.
if I may, I would like to apologize to the audience and to you.
That's quite all right, Mrs. Massey. Mrs. Massey, before we get back to the interview,
Go ahead, Mom, ask us.
I would like to announce that the opinions expressed on this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily represent the opinions of the producer, your sponsor, your local television station, or our moderator. Thank you. Now, Mrs. Massey?
Tell me, are the switchboards still jammed?
Yes, I'm afraid it's pretty well shot.
Because of what I said?
Well, yes. But hobbies. What are your hobbies, Mrs. Massey?
But, you know, I really am awfully sorry. I certainly didn't mean to upset the apple cart.
That's all right. Now, hobbies?
It's just that I had no idea. I mean, people do call in, you mean?
At the drop of a hat.
What do they say?
Oh, they express their opinion.
Oh, well, I think that's marvelous. What is their opinion?
Oh, I don't really know.
Well, I mean, are they for or against togetherness?
Well, that information's kept confidential. Only Mr. Earp gets the statistical breakdown.
Do you mean we can't find out? Oh, I'm dying.
Everybody against togetherness, call the station to which you're listening.
Don't say that. Everybody for togetherness. Call each other.
Mrs. Massey, please don't start that again. You have no idea how complicated it gets. They love to call, especially when they don't like something.
Oh, well, now, I think that's good.
I mean, a controversy like this can cause all sorts of repercussions. May we get back to the hobbies?
Now, Mom?
Oh, yes. Yes, I guess you could say that at the moment, Binky's hobby is music. If that's all right to say.
Oh, yes. Everybody likes music.
Good.
Does he sing or play an instrument?
Oh, it's not a he, it's a she. This is Binky.
Oh.
No, she doesn't sing, and she doesn't play an instrument, but she's the manager of the astronauts.
The, astronauts?
Yes, a local combo. They're right here.
Here?
Yes.
I'm afraid we don't have time. Mrs. Massey, we don't do that. Well, it has to be cleared with the unions.
It's all right, Mr. Haskell. They don't belong to any union. Go ahead, dear.
Countdown! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ground control to Freedom 1. Report observations. Go ahead, Freedom 1. Over.
Look at the glow from the world down below. Its story's the story of love. Look at the stars from Juno to Mars. They're telling the story of love. The sun and the moon were made with love. The whole Milky Way is paved with love. And the dippers are pouring out waves of love. Just look down below and above. For the story's the story of love. For the story's the story of love.
Boys, come on in. Come on in here. Well? Did they cut us off? Mr. Haskell, are you still there?
Yes, Mrs. Massey, I'm still here. Now, if I could prevail upon you, if you don't mind, we just have a few minutes left. Could we get back to the interview?
Yes, of course, but honestly, don't you think they're good? And you know, they wrote that song themselves.
Really?
Come on in. Yes. Would you like to hear another one they wrote?
No.
Hey, Pete,
That
bring
was
the drum
fine.
here.
This is not a musical program.
Oh, you mean more repercussions?
Yeah, I don't know, Mrs. Massey. I just don't know. It's just that there are some things we can do and some things we can't. Mr. Earp.
Mr. Earp, you mean circumstances beyond our control? Oh, honestly, I am sorry. I just thought it would liven things up a little bit. That's
Well,
all.
it did that.
Yes.
If we can just get back to some of the questions.
Of course. You wanted to ask me about raising children. Well, all right. Go ahead. I'm ready. Oh.
Mrs. Massey, we're just trying to present a picture of America at home.
Yes. Yes, I think I understand. You want us to show you a picture of contented family life in Connecticut, right?
Right.
And you'd like us to say things like apple pie or picture window and togetherness.
Oh, no. We just like to...
Mr. Haskell and ladies and gentlemen, this is my family. And this, I am afraid, is the way we are, individually and collectively. Oh, it's not always this much fun, and it isn't ever perfect. Sometimes we get in each other's way. Sometimes it's rather unpleasant. Sometimes we don't even like each other very much. But there's one thing that I am quite sure of. We always love each other. And try, as hard as it is sometimes, to understand and respect each other. And as long as we've made a mess of this whole thing so far, I might as well tell you that I think we spend too much time trying to, glamorize the American way of life, instead of pursuing the the really worthwhile values. I mean, if our children believed everything that they read and saw and heard, well, they wouldn't need an education or a personality to succeed or be happy. All they'd need is a little dab of...
Mrs. Massey, you mean you believe in stressing the positive aspects?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, sex, for instance...
Mrs. Massey, juvenile delinquents. What is a mother's view toward juvenile delinquency?
Oh, I'm against it. If that's all right.
Oh, that's fine. Fine.
Good.
Go ahead.
Well, for what it's worth, I think that children are looking for their place in this world. And, if we don't help them find it in the right way, they are certainly going to find it for themselves in the wrong way.
I'll get it.
Oh, all right, dear. I'm sorry I got so wound up,
Hey,
but...
Mom.
Yes, dear.
Excuse me.
Yes.
It's for you, long distance. Bluefish, Montana.
For me?
Yes, Mr. Virgil Earp.
Mr. Earp. Shall I?
By all means. I imagine I'll be getting a call from him, too.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Earp. Oh, I'm so sorry that things didn't go the way they were... Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I'll tell him. Goodbye, Mr. Earp, and thank you very much for calling. Mr. Earp said he was watching from a hunting lodge in Bluefish, Montana. He said that the switchboard gem indicated a very high interest quotient. He was pleased.
Well.
And he said to tell you to congratulate you on the way you handled the whole thing.
Really?
Yes, he did.
I thought it was a shambles.
Well, he said that's what he liked about it. He also said that although he didn't agree with everything I said, that a lot of people in Bluefish, Montana did.
Yeah! And let's hear it for togetherness.
Go, go, go! And he also said that they liked the combo.
Let's hear it for Mr. Earp.
And remember, it all started right here in Ellendale, Connecticut. Founded in 1639.
That's right, Mrs. Schofield. And you know something? I have a feeling that this is just the beginning.
I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Thanks to the Massey and to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gary Haskell Jr. Good evening from wherever you go.
Togetherness is in the mind, and the heart, and the understanding. It has little or nothing to do with proximity. Well, good night. And we'll see you next week.